cabin lights will be dimmed for your comfort. Please remain seated at all times with your seat belts fastened unless you are moving around the cabin, which we do not encourage at this time of our flight. Thank you. Isn't that fun to watch? Like so many random memories. Good morning. Welcome back. Day 2. We're a quieter bunch this morning. Rach was in a room above a party of fun-loving 18-year-olds. So she's had 4 hours sleep, so she's rocking it. Sorry as I put my things down. We have made a coffee table book, if you haven't seen it, which captures all of the images going back from 2017. I was like, when did I have Daisy and go back a year? So that's sitting up in Ben's L'Organised Chill Out Zone
and it's fun. Those of you that have been here for a really long time, it's fun going back. My observations are I look a little larger and my hair looks a little longer and we all look a little different, but the fun is still the same. There are 2 people in the audience today that have been at every single retreat. And on the first day, I said that we have some platinum frequent flyers amongst us. And I would just like to acknowledge both of those. And we have a happy little box that someone's holding. Here they are. Kelly Stanford has... Please join the Platinum Frequent Flyers Club with Joa Lilovich. She got her Platinum Frequent Flyer on Thursday. And Mel Telesecan has been here since the time began. I so appreciate those of you that continue to come, continue to be in the club. When Kelly says to me, I'm paying for my friends, really. I don't really need your ideas anymore, Clarissa. It's okay, we have this loving relationship where she's deeply honest and I so appreciate it. It's just easier, isn't it? But now we have a routine at the retreat where the 2 of us go and have our hair done on a Thursday afternoon, and I just love it. I get 1 hour of Kelly, and it's about the only time we get to actually see each other all year. But the friendships that have come from all of this are, honestly, I'm going to cry now, the most valuable thing on every level. I'm so proud of it. And I so enjoyed watching you all dance like idiots last night on the dance floor. So it was just such a special thing. So I want to say thank you so much for that. Now, we have a save the date up on the screen because I have said we will do this again. So this will be next year. So pop it in your diaries. And we'd love to have you back. And I think we might come back here. I'm really interested in the feedback of locations and things. Please give me that feedback. We love the room, there's no doubt about that. The team here have been great. Thank you so much, Island team. It's been a really good thing. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. All right. Hashtag. Dan Bottrell said to me last night, what's the hashtag? I was like, I don't know. 2 days into my 3-day event and I have no idea what the hashtag is. So this is the hashtag, particularly for your wild party snaps from last night. Please feel free to hashtag away stay golden. That would be great. And as I said yesterday, Jenny Letts was our primary sponsor along with us at the club for the dinner last night. Jen can't be here today, but she has a gift for you all that will be coming around, thanks to my kind team of helpers, to pep you up and keep you going for the next little while. These are Brookie cookies. Who is following Brookie? Holy moly. So Emily Griffiths got me onto Brookie. The kids are onto Brookie. What a smart entrepreneur this young lady is. Holy moly. Say again, Kel. I don't watch her TikToks because I'm not on the TikTok. Yeah. I'm too old for that. She's so clever. It's all good. She's on Instagram, and I imagine the TikToks come across to Instagram for us old people. So clever, though. If you want to see someone rocking it in business right now, this woman. Another sponsor that I haven't mentioned prior to now is our kind, wonderful, amazing friends, Jacob and Harmony Aldridge, and their business, Como, and they have provided your super cute drink bottles this year that were in your bags. You're about to hear from Harmony. We're going to hear from Jacob at the end of the day. I think Jacob's been wrapping up the retreat since the second year. You would be very close to a platinum frequent flyer. You would be part of the gold frequent flyer members with Lucy Dickens. And I so enjoy having Jacob finish our event because every year he brings something different. I do a lot of public speaking, and I will never forget the year that Jacob hit the stage, not having prepared so much anything, but had taken slides from all of the speakers from the 2 days prior and asked the speakers to deliver him a slide from their own presentation. And then his job live from stage was to make that make sense. And it was the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. I could never have done it. It sent Joe into an absolute spiral. She was sitting there going, how? No, I'm stressed on your behalf. I can't do this. And I so enjoyed it. When I was putting together the program for this year, Harmony, who is a lawyer like all of us, had stepped out of her more traditional role as a lawyer and has come into the coaching business, working with Jacob. And I just thought it was the perfect opportunity to top and tail my program, husband and wife. I love this. And a lot of you are in business with your partners, which I think is super brave, and I say congratulations to you. Mine's left the room. No way I could do that. So, but I'm really looking forward to having both of them speak today, and I would like to again acknowledge your sponsorship of our event, and you have been working with us for years, and I'm super grateful. I have absolutely had the benefit of Jacob and Harmony's coaching knowledge in my business life, and it's powerful, super powerful. So thank you, guys. All right, what else have I forgotten? There were things I was given here, and I've put them down, and now I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't forgotten anything. I get to bring you to the stage. All right, so Harmony is going to kick us off this morning. I'm not going to say too much, but she has earrings like me. She's learning to be a dance mum because their beautiful daughter has joined the same dance studio that our girls go to, but she's only in the tiny weenie ones where they make it really easy and nice for you and you don't know what you're in for. But Dance Mum Land is fast ahead of you, and I'm determined to make sure that that's in your life. But please come and open our Saturday morning. Please welcome Harmony. Oh, did you need that one?
Just one, yeah. Oh, I now am speaking. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Thanks so much, Clarissa. I have notes. I'm the first speaker this year to have notes. And the reason for that is what I'm going to share with you today. There's some real precision in the distinctions that I'm making and that I want you to have access to. And I want to make sure that I nail that for you. So, as Clarissa said, Jacob and I are now in business together. We've actually been in business together for ages. I just also had a job, either full-time or part-time, throughout all of that time. And yeah, I'm a recovering lawyer. I don't say reformed, I say recovering because it's a daily practice. I'm the living embodiment that behind every good man, there is a great woman. But I also say that tongue-in-cheek because I'm not quite sure I believe it. Not every day, at least. This is the first time that I've stood up in this role in front of an audience like you to share my story and my message. And it's slightly uncomfortable. Just in case it wasn't clear from the blurb or from that big statement behind me, you've had and you will have wonderful, talented, clever people telling you all about how to do legal business better, what you could be doing. What I'm here to talk about is who you're being. Because who you're being helps you align with what you're doing. It connects with what Clarissa opened this conference with and what she talked about in the podcast in the lead up. What's good for someone is not necessarily good for you, so it's about making those choices that align with you, your life, your vision for you and your family. Okay, so who you're being helps you focus on what you need to be doing. And then you might just be able to start closing some of the 47,000 tabs open in your brain, or perhaps put them into the could-do bucket instead of the must-do or what-the bucket. Okay, so welcome everyone. It's the morning after the night before, and I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to speak with all of you. And apart from that really empty table at the front, there's definitely a lot of people here. It's just in my line of vision, so I'm going to have to pick other people to look at. So I want to talk to you about comfort zones. Because I do know some of you here, but I don't know many of you here either. And I really don't know what is... Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. I don't know what's more uncomfortable, talking in front of people that you know or people that you don't know. So, some of the benefit I have as a speaker is that I get to control some of the energy of the room. And apparently this is how we do the clicker, just for everyone today. This is how we do it. So what I could do is I could stand up here for 40 minutes and tell you about my story, sand off those jagged edges, and we could all sit in this beautiful, pleasant comfort zone. That'd be really nice when we're tired and after a big night. Okay, but life, as I've come to know it, and our individual journey as humans, it's not about being relaxed, happy, and calm all of the time. And my personal development, my personal awareness journey for someone named Harmony has certainly not been zen or effortless. Mel, that cage fighter you talked about yesterday, I totally identify with him at times. And I was thinking about the analogy to use, and I'm very lucky my parents live at Q1, so we and our family, we get to go down to the Surfers Paradise Beach all the time, but you could be body surfing a wave there and just riding it, and then all of a sudden you're in that rough and tumble of the surf because it's quite an open coastline. So my choice is that I could push you a little bit and push you outside of your comfort zone. You could be slightly uncomfortable. This is what we call the SUZ, or the slightly uncomfortable zone. The thing about this place is that is where the seed of growth is planted. When you push outside your comfort zone, when you become slightly uncomfortable, you learn new things. You grow as an individual, and why are we here if not to grow? Of course, I could push you even harder. I could push you through that, really stretch you and send you into the oh no zone. That's where growth really happens. And here's the thing. At the end of my session this morning, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you, do you still want to be a lawyer? And some of you are going to squirm a little bit and be in the SUZ, the slightly uncomfortable zone. Some of you are going to go, oh no, she didn't. And the rest of you, as you can see, because the clicker didn't go in time, you could be pushed right out into the OF zone. And I'm not a swearer, so I'm not going to swear, but I'm totally not judgmental of people who do. So you can use it, and you can really use that word in future. Okay, so are we all up for that? Excellent. Okay, I'm going to do it in a safe way. I'm going to take you on a journey. As a business coach who specialises in female-led law firms, my clients show up asking, how do I change and grow as a lawyer and as a business owner and as a person? Some ask consciously, some have their soul screaming for them to answer that question, but the thinking brain just hasn't caught up yet. So, if you're scared to grow, this may not be for you, or hey, you may already have done all of this work, so thank you for leading the way. I promise to be gentle. Any OF you experience is entirely your own. Okay, so strap in. Because if you're here, if you've created the opportunity to be here this morning participating, then now's the time that you need to take some of this information back to your business, back to your career, and back to your life. It worked. To make sure we're all awake, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to take the coloured piece of paper that's sitting in the tables in front of you, and we're going to run an exercise. So I'll ask you to close your eyes in a moment, not just yet. But before we do that, I need to check that everyone here is good at following instructions. So, as a shout out to Leanne yesterday, we are going to raise our right hand. So just think about that and be ready for the right hand, not the left or the other right. But yeah, it's not so that I get a standing ovation. You can leave that to the end. Okay, we ready? Cool. So everyone, put your right hand up. Wonderful, and pop it back down. We can all follow instructions. So, this is how the exercise goes. In a moment, I'll ask you to close your eyes and pick up your piece of paper. And I'm going to give you some instructions for listening to that are no more complicated than what I just gave you then. Okay, I need you to be quiet, not talk to each other, and I'm not going to answer any questions. Ready? Okay, so pick up the piece of paper and close your eyes. Now fold the piece of paper. Tear a piece out of the middle. Fold it again. Tear a piece out of the top right-hand corner. Fold it again. Tear a piece out of the bottom. Now unfold the paper, hold it up, and open your eyes. Oh gosh, what happened? How come yours don't look like mine? What just... Oh, this is my first time. What just happened? This is where the audience participation starts. The acting stops. What just happened then? Why does everyone seem to have... Some are similar, but they're not exactly the same. Why does everyone seem to have slightly different pieces of paper? Because you're not the same? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Is there a right way to do this? Hands up if anyone thinks that there was one right way to do this exercise. No. See, we're in a room of amazing humans who get that. Yeah, there's not. So, I also thought we were all good at following instructions, but as Michelle said, we all take them in slightly differently. Sometimes when I run this exercise, I get the blame. I made you tear that paper in that way. It's really interesting. It's not happening in this room. Absolutely. So what actually occurred? I want you to tell me, what does interpreting mean? What did you have to do inside of yourself to take my instructions that led me to this and you to your outcome? Yeah. Oh. Yes, it depends on which way the paper is, absolutely. So what did you do when I was telling you each instruction? What were you doing? Yeah? Yeah, so you were taking that information and making it mean something to you? Uh-huh. And then how did you, I'll use you because you're such a kind person, Jackie. How did you show it? Because ours are very different. How did you end up with that? And I end up with this. What was you doing? Just break it down slowly in your head. Yeah. Yeah. And so you took the information that I shared with you and you made it mean something in your head, and then you told your hands to do what you needed to do to have an outcome. Yeah. So there's a lot of steps in there from that stimulus through to that response. So what this exercise shows us, and I keep each and every one of these, the coach that Jacob and I have learned from for a really long time, she told me keep every single one of these because every time you do this exercise, it's going to be slightly different. Some people think that when you kind of know the instructions, that it loses its impact. It really doesn't. because you become very aware. You go to that next level and you become very aware of every single choice that you're making to get from the instruction to the outcome. So, this shows us that you choose what everything means. Nothing has meaning until you choose to give it meaning. No two human beings interpret the world in the same way. As shown by this, they're somewhat similar, but they're also not listening to the world in the same way. So, why is that? One of the things that could be at play are our filters. We all have different filters through which we see the world. Some of them are more conscious, like our current experiences. So there are thoughts, judgments, beliefs, opinions. We're pretty conscious of a lot of those. We're also not conscious of them, but we're pretty conscious of those. It goes to the least conscious, and apologies, this is really far down, probably behind the lights. But they're those beliefs that we're forming in that 0 to 7 childhood years. And we know that more and more research is coming out just in terms of how important those early childhood years are. We call that the FOC, or the fundamental operating context. Each of us has different filters, from us to the world at large. So the world might communicate X, and you might hear XX. You might communicate X, and your lawyer or spouse might hear WTF or XX. The important thing is that through practice and self-awareness, you can bring these filters to your consciousness, and you can change them. You can change how you see the world, and you can change who you choose to be in the world. One of the filters, well, maybe it's just me, but one of the filters we have as lawyers is that I'm a lawyer, as opposed to I do work as a lawyer. Our very identity of our industry is wrapped up in being a lawyer. When the truth is, the law is what we do. And that distinction is so hard as we see the world through our job, through our career, which makes it very difficult to ask ourselves that magic question, do I still want to be a lawyer? So what's my answer? I'll start with my story. So, mine is a journey of a recovering perfectionist. Experiences of shooting all over myself. Thanks, Sex and the City, for that one. And seeking external validation for trying to feel good enough, for answers on how to feel good enough. So I went to law school, not musical theatre for anyone playing along in the Retreat Facebook group. I got the honours degree, the 6-point-something GPA, the details of which I don't remember because it long ago became irrelevant, if it ever was. I decided that I was not going to go into private practice because one day I was going to be a judge or a diplomat, and that's because Jacob really wanted to be a judge or a diplomat's husband. And I wanted to have a voice and make an impact with it. So then I did all of the doing. I did all of the applications, interviews, most top-tier law firms, 20 or so judges. I did it all because if I did all of that, then I would have a life of helping people and I would feel fulfilled, be fulfilled. I didn't get those jobs, surprise, surprise, and I felt like the biggest failure. I'd failed at something that I previously had decided that I didn't even want and then got really attached to. I felt like I had failed as a lawyer before I'd even started. And in hindsight, I got the perfect job for me. It was a mid-tier practice and it practiced across a whole bunch of areas. Back then, it doesn't now. But I got to see what I really enjoyed and I chose employment law. I also like criminal law, but I couldn't handle murderers, so I just was not built for that. I progressed quickly in my early career. I was admitted in 2007, recruited to a top-tier law firm in 2008, SA by 2010. I was also a billing machine. and someone who could get that 6.5 billable hours on the clock and still be at the gym or hanging with friends by 6 p.m. every night. However, I frequently received these messages. A lawyer named Harmony? That's weird. So next, I got married, stared 30 in the face, did the London thing, only the timing that we chose was the GFC. And it was here that I found out that not only was I a female, I was Antipodean, and that was a deliberate, intentional insult. I worked at a law firm in Mayfair and then in Bishopsgate in support and employee relations roles, because despite all of the interviews that I'd attended, again at top-tier Magic Circle firms, I didn't get a role as a lawyer. At that point in my life, I was not ready to lean into those failures, opportunities, and ask myself what that meant for me. I had to justify that what I really wanted from my London experience was to do lots of travel. Didn't matter that Jacob was setting up and kicking goals with his coaching business in the UK. I needed to have something to show for my decision to move us to the other side of the world and feel like I hadn't failed. There's still a lot to unpack for me about why I'm uncomfortable with failure, and I guess I have to remind myself I'm a recovering perfectionist. After we visited 25 countries in a single year, that's not all the countries we visited, but it was just ones that we visited in 1 year while we were working full-time, I realised that I needed to move back to Australia and prove that I was good enough to be a lawyer. So I snagged my old SA position. I was back on track for the career trajectory that I'd always wanted, or so I thought. I lasted 3 months back in top tier before I had to quit because of the intense discomfort. My brain had actually changed, and my work style. I had some great insights for clients, but I couldn't do what I'd done previously. I was no longer a billing machine. I could see that I'd literally been operating as a robot during my 20s. I prioritised work over relationships. Look, I'd been ticking the boxes. I had been hanging out with friends and family. I'd been doing all of that, but I wasn't present. That's okay, because they're decisions that I made, they're choices that I made with loving intent for myself and for people in my life. Maybe not fully conscious of the consequences, but still choices I made with loving intent. And also, I realised as I was preparing this presentation, I was experiencing some of the billable hour blockers that I'm going to talk to you about. So, it's a long story, isn't it? I tried out in-house professional services, again, to see if I'd been doing the wrong type of law or the wrong job, constantly seeking that external validation. And that's where I learned that the opposite of happiness, it's not sadness, it's boredom. I then enjoyed a long tenure at an airline in their workplace relations department. It was an amazing job, lots of travel, #blessed. And I'm not meaning that in the derogatory way that my tone of voice is saying. It was an amazing job. What happened for me here, though, is that I had to make the choice between career advancement and having a family. It didn't seem that I could manage both at the same time. There was just so much doing to do. So I, with Jacob, navigated the fertility hellhole, infertility hellhole, 10 rounds of IVF, over 6 years, multiple pregnancies, thankfully, gratefully, 1 child, yet more so unsuccessful. Thanks. More unsuccessful IVF afterwards, a decade. All while trying to keep some semblance of a career alive with huge amounts of hormones and multiple medical menopauses, changing my brain even more. Even though Jacob was part of the club during this time, never occurred to me to join. I just look at that video this morning and just thinking about everything that I've missed. But I know that every decision that I've made up until this point has led me to here. I was really deep in that family building journey. And I jokingly say Jacob and I use a lot of black humour, particularly with infertility. I donated my 30s to welcoming our daughter into our lives. So, you got to get a photo of her. There she is. Okay, it was 2020. I was excited to be called back from parental leave, back to an airline navigating a pandemic. They needed lots of help. 18 months later, when I was on the receiving end of a redundancy choice, that was another opportunity for me to ask myself the question, do I still want to be a lawyer? I had been a director in a coaching business for 15 years. You know those awesome things that Jacob does? That's because I'm the puppet master behind the scenes. No, he is a magnificent human in his own right. I was undertaking intensive training in how to be a coach, working with coaching clients, but I was still attracted and distracted by opportunities to work as a lawyer. I spent the better half of the 2 years since taking that redundancy, taking that huge opportunity, refusing to answer the question before finally relinquishing my practicing certificate for the 4th time this April. Some of you last year might remember, I was like, yeah, I'm a recovering lawyer, and here's the form that I just filled out just to join back up again, because someone asked, could I be a lawyer and help them out with some of the work, and keep on doing it. Anyway, how long has it been? Yeah, it's 6 months, a bit longer. So who's the common denominator in all of this? It's me. I had access to this approach, this mindset, these tools that I'm going to share with you for 20 years. And I can see that I had plenty of soul-screaming moments, but it wasn't my time to get it. The lessons kept appearing, but the student, me, I wasn't ready. And you may not be ready for this today, and that's okay. It only took me 20 years, and I may not be your teacher. I'm now in a position where I can remind myself that I choose and create the whole of my own reality, that I can choose who I am being in each interaction, each moment. And I know that then I will be able to do what I want and have what I desire. It is a daily practice. I have calendar reminders because that's what I need right now. Alternatively, when I'm choosing to be at effect of others and situations, I know I'm unlikely to do what I love and have what I desire. And this pace is equally empowering and frightening. Just like a lot of things to do with adulting, it's this way because I just can't go back. Or rather, I choose not to. I like the feeling this of freedom, this awareness brings me. And yes, a huge amount of responsibility. But it's from a place of knowing that I can and I am creating a life that I want for me and our family. And I'm grateful for the privilege that I have to do this. So what stops us from chasing our dreams? Generally speaking, it's attached to money, sense of security, a precedent, framework, crystal ball. The reality is, when you're choosing what you want for your life, there is no precedent because there's never been another you. I had a bumper sticker on my car at 18, my first car, and it said, "Be yourself, there's no one better qualified." It's more than 20 years ago. Like, I've had access to this stuff, and it's okay. It's just being gracious. Most of the lawyers, mostly female lawyers, whether they're law firm owners or team members, aspire to do the law and life better. And by that, they mean more connected to their authentic self. It's so comforting to have a room full of lawyers across the gender spectrum who are committed to embracing their feminine energy and not putting on the masculine masks that we've all been told are how to do the law properly. And yet still many of us feel blocked, disconnected from that sense of purpose. We feel stuck in the commercial realities, the financial targets, the realities of law. We feel lost meandering our way through a career. One of the easiest things to blame for not going on a personal awareness journey is the financial targets, the needs of your firm or the needs of your employer. I'm not a coach who says it's not about the money. Let's dig deeper. Because sometimes it is about the money, and let's dig deeper. Many lawyers in general, many female lawyers in particular, have some real blocks around their value and converting their brilliance into receipts. That's where we talk about billable hour blockers. So this is one of the frameworks that I use with clients. For business owners, it's more about what's blocking revenue, which often has something to do with these billable hour blockers being at play for you and for your team. So we may know that we're not hitting targets, we're working heaps of hours, seemingly busy, doing lots of work. These BHBs help us identify the blockers. Once we have that awareness, then we can do something. So there are 4 different categories, 2 of which are in the not enough space. I'm going to have to come over here because otherwise I'll stand in front of it. So that's kind of things like not enough clients, not enough work, didn't record all of my time, was too efficient. There is 1 in the too much category. So that's where we have conscious self-censorship, capability gaps, and doing too many non-billable tasks. We recently completed a cultural project with a small firm, which is what we call about the 12 to 24 employee category. And this framework, billable hour blockers, was one of the key pieces in our toolkit. After just 3 months, we helped increase revenue by $100,000 per month. The team had come back to the office. There was more connection and belonging. They wanted to be working with each other. The business owners were and still are absolutely committed to continuing this journey. We now have somewhat of an opposite problem, which is people at 130% of their billable targets. So we're working on that. So the final category is personal beliefs. Once you know the what of BHBs, then you can identify the how to change them. If you're not recording all of your time, is it because of self-censorship? Is it because you think about a matter 7 times a day but you only catch 4 of them? Or is it because you don't believe that your time is valuable, that the work that you're doing is not valuable, that you're not valuable? This is what I want to focus on here today, personal beliefs. You can have plenty of ahas in all of those other blockers, and I'm more than happy to talk about them and some things that you can do to help move them out of the way, either for yourself or for your team. But the reason why I want to focus on personal beliefs today is because belief changing is a skill. And I'm out of time. Did I just see that? The time has stopped. I'm right? Okay, thank you. Belief changing is a skill that you can use not just in relation to money and billable hours. It's a skill you can use in relation to changing beliefs about yourself that just don't serve you. And what happens with repetition is you create new neural pathways in your brain. And you not only change your specific beliefs, but also the way that you talk to yourself and to others. You will recognise beliefs that underpin thoughts, and you're also going to be able to flip the script on those thoughts before they embed themselves in beliefs. So, those beliefs on the screen, I'm not so sure I want to admit them to myself, and maybe you don't want to admit them to yourself. Before we do that 5-step belief-changing exercise, I'm going to read one of my favourite quotes from Marianne Williamson, given that everyone's comfortable with being slightly uncomfortable. Feel free to close your eyes. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are here. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure about you. We are all meant to shine. We are born to make manifest the beauty that is within us. And it's not just within some of us, it's within everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission to others to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I create my reality out of the beliefs I hold. When I change my beliefs, I change my reality. So, belief-changing exercise, which can be a belief about money or billing or something else that you would like to explore. Something that you go, yes, that's getting in my way. So you have a 5-step belief changing card on your tables. Where all the words are, that's some instructions for a future time if you want to repeat this exercise. It's pretty powerful. If you flip it over, you've got a blank on the other side. That's the side we're going to be writing on today. So step 1, identify one belief you'd like to change, and in step 1, write a statement about it. This is a gut feel and knowing exercise. Get that thinking brain out of your way. If you cannot access your gut, what you need to do is look down. This is how we access our feelings, how we're feeling, our gut, our knowing. And then write it on step 1. Is anyone drawing a blank? Do you want me to throw out some examples? Do you believe any of these right now? Staff are hard to find. I don't have enough money. When I have enough money, I will. Fill in the blanks. The economy is bad. Use those and change that. Or, I'm not valuable. The work that I do is not valuable. My time is not valuable. Okay, we're going to move through it because that's a gut feel exercise. Step 2. Next to step 2, we're going to convert this statement into a belief by adding at the front, I have chosen to believe, and then rewrite that statement that you wrote in step 1. I have chosen to believe that staff are hard to find. And absolutely, we find evidence to help these beliefs along. This is my favourite part. Take responsibility for having chosen that belief with love and wisdom for yourself and from having given yourself value from holding that belief. Acknowledge that you've served yourself well with that belief because you have, even if you can't see it yet. Remember, through truly owning your beliefs, you can let them go, get them out of the way, and choose new beliefs. To add something new into our lives, we often have to let go of something else. Now, write the following statement in full in step 3. This is about honouring your past self because every decision you have made up until this point has got you into this room. So we want to thank our past selves for being here today. I acknowledge I chose this belief with love and wisdom for myself. I am responsible for holding this belief, and I acknowledge I have given myself value from holding this belief. Step 4. This is where you now choose to let that belief go and choose a new belief to support you in creating your life and your reality as you consciously desire it to be. So write in step 4, I now choose to let this belief go, and I choose the following new belief. And this is not where we throw up the postcards in a lovely moment for camera because there's one more step. Okay, step 5. Choose a new belief and write it as if it were already true. And for this, be willing to suspend disbelief and choose new beliefs or a belief that you really take you beyond your old limitations. I believe there are 8 billion people on this planet. How many do I want? I believe that I'm going to find the people who are commercially and culturally aligned to my business. I believe I always have enough money. I believe there are incredible opportunities at every stage of the economic cycle. One experience is not necessarily going to change this belief for you. But I did say, or Marianne Williamson did say, that you are powerful beyond measure. so it just might. We know that repetition equals proficiency and rewires our brain. So we can do this for any and all beliefs that we hold, including those about being, doing, and having. There's a longer exercise to this, more in depth, and if Clarissa or anyone is interested, we can do a lunch and learn in the club next year where we can do belief and choice changing. As I said, one experience, but hey, own your power and see what is possible. Okay. Been talking about being and doing and having. I'm not sure if you've seen how I've peppered those words all throughout my story and this presentation. So this is the framework. The prevailing attitude in this world is that once I have that outcome or everything I desire, then I'll do whatever I want and I'll be happy, content, calm, relaxed. Or if I keep doing all of the things, then I'll have everything I desire and be happy. You can see from my story that I've had both of those mindsets. And it's not to say that I'm not going to 5 minutes after I get down from this speech or next week. It's just that I know that they are things that I can choose to think differently about. So now, what I do try and choose as much as possible is to be me, be present, be calm, energized, happy in as many moments of the day as I can be. Then I am doing what needs to be done, whatever I want, and I have, and I know I will have, everything I desire. There we go. 5, thank you. So choose your be. Who are you going to be today? Yourself? And if you're not sure, you can simply acknowledge for yourself, I am being able to choose. I am the one that chooses, and I can choose again. That might mean, dare I say it, that you choose to do what you love and to have everything you desire. It's really easy and simple, but it's not effortless. So that's why on the drink bottle, I like to think that every time you take a sip of water or your preferred cool beverage out of this, that you'll be sipping in the beliefs of be happy, do what you love, have everything you desire. That's why it was important to us to have a water bottle that you could take home with you. It's a practice. As I've said a few times, we know that repetition is proficiency. The more we choose to be, the more often we're truly being ourselves. We call it legal practice. So why do we think personal development is one and done? I said that I'd give you some practical tools. Remember, Mel very kindly said, can't wait for those. And then I went, oh God, what am I going to give them that they can do? And the practical tools that I've given to you today, they're not necessarily a lot of doing. It's about being. It's about raising your awareness. Because without first being, we're not able to do something better. And if this doesn't resonate with you today, then that's okay. Perhaps the student isn't ready yet, and I'm not the teacher for you. Remember, it took me 20 years. So when I roll out this material in a group of people or a firm, it gives them a common language. It aids communication, which is at the essence of every human relationship. Because I might say X, and you might hear XX. If we can say that that's what's happening, then I can say, oh, what I meant was. And then that conversation about expectations and accountability for expectations is so much simpler because we have a common language. And that's why we prefer to coach for business transformation and not only with our one-on-one business owner and key individuals in businesses. The final point I want to make about these tools is that they're tools, not weapons. I've weaponized them, so no judgment, but let's use them to bring awareness to ourselves. Let's help ourselves be our magnificent selves and spread more love in the world, because who am I as a harmony if not to want to have that as one of my goals? So the question you've all been waiting for, do you still want to be a lawyer? There is a QR code to have a quiz that is lots of fun, more like a dolly quiz. It's not, psychometric testing or financial analysis. Get together with your friends and feel like a 14-year-old again. But it's lots of fun and you might just learn something. Notice it says, do you still want to be a lawyer? Not, do you still want to have a practicing certificate or do you still want to do the law? It's about who you're being. You've just spent 40 minutes listening to my story. We can have a chat and listen to your story. There's another postcard there, so just tick the box and leave it on your table, or some of Clarissa's team or Jacob and I will collect it at the end and we'll be in touch. Otherwise, I'm here all day. I feel like I've had a day in 40 minutes already. I'm walking the final keynote speaker home, and I'm really excited to be learning a lot more and just absorbing all of the community of the day. So thank you for hanging out in the SUZ or the O-No zone with me today, hopefully not too much in the OOF zone. My intention was for you to have an experience of being, of seeing how who you're being is important to creating the life you want, and that there are some tools that can help with returning you to being your authentic self. It's about progress, not perfection, as you're already perfect just as you are. And yeah, there's some regular practices that you, me, we can all benefit from. Thank you and have an amazing Saturday.
If you're down the front, what you didn't see was just the most beautiful moment between Jacob and Harmony then. Oh God, now I am going to cry. Okay, pull it together, Clarissa. Okay. Couple of things to stop myself crying. So this amazing digital graphic that's been up all the last couple of days over here is the work of a Gold Coast artist, Rachel Nunny. And we reached out to her before today because I may already have a number of her pieces in my art collection, and asked her to paint us something that we could then license to use in our works. So that's where that's come from. I said it yesterday and I'll just keep saying it. For me, supporting the arts is such an important thing in this country. And I know I've managed to convince Lucy and Joe that adding artworks to their collection every year as we celebrate our financial success of the financial year is a really powerful way of going, yes, my office looks prettier. And I feel really good. But we took Rachel's work and licensed it for next year's planners. So they're up the back. And I think I saw Fiona McClay walking around with one of these yesterday. Yeah. Turned it into the Confetti Lawyer poster. So just a thought from me is we're all doing graphics all the time in our work, and it's really powerful to go to someone that might have a visual aesthetic that you like and invite them to do something for you. And that's how that collaboration yesterday with Kate and Lizzie came about. Thanks, Michael. Just support the people.